Broadway Interludes presented by Art Lab. I'm your host, Megan Chocolus, and today I am joined by the oh-so-talented Kayla Davion.
Hey!
Hi! Leans into frame. Hey! We're keeping it. All right, so thank you so much for being here today.
Oh my God, thanks for having me.
So Kayla was most recently seen as Tina in Tina Turner, the musical.
Yes.
The energy it probably takes. I don't know how you did that.
Yeah. Well, I think my body is like still coming down.
Yeah.
You know?
Every time you hear the word, you get a little stressed.
No, just a little bit. Every time I'm like, and we're on.
So to start the interview, I would love to know how your theatrical journey began.
Yeah. Okay, great. So we're going to talk about it. So
Let's do it.
I did not get into theater until my senior year of high school.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was raised in the church. My dad's a pastor, so I grew up singing, right? So always had the singing abilities, but never did any like voice lessons, never acted, never danced, besides like the chicken head on the side in the street, having a good time. But I ended up doing this all-state theater production of Memphis, the musical.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I love that show.
Yeah, Memphis is so good.
Yeah, my younger sister, actually, she had a theater teacher. His name was Mr. Rose, and he was like, you need to audition for the show. And I was like, no, thank you. And he's like, no, seriously, you need to audition for the show. Because I was a part of a bunch of like extracurricular activities. Like I was the captain of my step team. I did like poetry club, like I was like writing music all the time, but I never like, I just never saw theater as the thing. Honestly, I really thought theater was a cult.
Yeah.
We could arguably say it is. We could very much arguably say it is. But so I ended up deciding to audition for it and I got in, right? Bless. If y'all don't know what an all-state theater production is, that basically means that you have students all over the state putting together this one show and you put it on at a festival. So we did this big theater festival. So it was kind of like whoom, bam, pow. I was getting everything at once. But it was my first time ever knowing that a Black woman could be a lead of a show.
Yeah.
First of all, which was like wild to me because I was like, okay,
yeah,
all right, this is a profession. I love that.
Okay.
And it also was my first time honestly understanding what an ensemble meant and knowing like how many people it takes to put a show together, including the crew. Like I still talk to a lot of the same people who were in this production with me today. And it's been almost 10 years. It's been almost 10 years. I'm old. Anyway, so the point is that I was like, I did this show and I was like, Mom, I think this is what I'm supposed to be doing for the rest of my life. And my mom was like, no. She was like, that's cute. Yeah. Maybe not. And I was like, no, like wait till you see it. Like you have to see it. And she sat and she watched the show. And she was like, I get it now.
Yeah.
And I mean, literally,
chills.
like, no, seriously, like, it was one of those magical moments that I was like, where were you? Where have you been my whole life? Like, where were you at? So from there, I was like, great. Now, senior year, I was going to go to school for psychology. Now we're changing. So where am I going to go to school now?
Right.
So I Googled.
Good start.
I Googled top 10 colleges for musical theater. Okay? Why would you not?
Yeah.
Hello? And so I was like, I think like NYU came on the search. It was like a bunch of different schools.
Yeah.
Not the school I went to. However, I had a great school. So I went to Ball State University in Muncie, Indiana. Okay. BSU, chirp, chirp. And the packet came in the mail. And I was at home one day and I looked down at the packet and my gut was like, go here. Like, not kidding.
That's insane.
Yeah, like not kidding. It literally was like, this is where you're supposed to be. And so I was like, okay. Do not do what I'm about to say that I did. Maybe don't do this, but I'm just telling you my story, okay? Back in. So I was like, this is where I'm supposed to be. Only school I auditioned for.
Right.
I had my parents drive me up there because it was in Indiana. I'm from Chicago originally.
Yeah.
South suburbs. And so then they drove me up there. I auditioned. I basically got in on the spot. So, like, this is,
amazing.
Like, when I say, like, blessing, like, my life is, like, actual, like, this is how I know I'm supposed to be doing this for the rest of my life. I literally got in on the spot and was like, great. Now I start in August. Fantastic. And check that off the list. And then I went to school for 4 years, and I literally had to build from the ground up because I knew nothing about theater. I mean, nothing. No history. I didn't know about Showboat. I didn't know about any of the stuff. So it was 4 years of me working my butt off to, like, get to a point where I felt like, I don't know, that I could be, like, confident in my skin and confident in acting and speaking in my own voice and dancing and singing, like, whirlwind.
Yeah.
And now I'm here, so
it worked out, didn't it? Come on, Ball State.
Okay, chirp, chirp, go Ball
State. Okay, so after, you went to college, ended up in New York.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yes.
That's the plan for most people.
Yes.
It worked out. What was your first big contract where, professional contract where you were like, wow, I'm doing it?
First big professional contract actually was Waitress. My senior year of college, we had a showcase. And so I was here in New York doing a showcase, which is how I met my agents. But like they always tell you, like, stay out here a couple days longer just in case they have you go in auditions.
Yeah.
So I was freelancing with the agency. And they last minute, I had all different auditions. Like, I was in for Color Purple, I was in for Lion King, I was in for Ragtime, I was in for Book of Mormon, and randomly, last minute, I think like 2 days before I was like about to head out, they were like, hey, do you want to go in for Waitress? And I was like, what's Waitress? I'm not kidding you. I fully was like, what's Waitress? No, seriously, y'all. Okay. And so they were like, go see the show and let us know if you want to audition for it. So I went and saw the show, and Sarah Bareilles was on that night as Jenna. And I remember just being like, oh my gosh. First of all, this music is hitting.
Yeah.
Second of all, it's like magic on stage.
Yeah.
It was mind-blowing. I was like, this is so beautiful. So I was like, absolutely, I would go in. So I went in the next day, and it was for Dawn, and it was for an ensemble track. Yep.
I was going to say, you'd be the perfect Dawn. But anyway, so cute.
And so I did the audition, and then I went back to school because we were getting ready to go into finals week. Oh. So then the agency called me. Yeah, my agency called me, and they were like, hey, so they want to bring you in for a callback. You have to come back to New York. And I didn't have a lot of funds growing up, but this is why I love Ball State, because they really believed in me. So, like, one of the teachers, Bev Turcotte, paid my way to go back to New York.
Bev.
Yeah, because they were like, you need to do this. And I was like, wow, thank you. And they were like, but they do want to know, if you book it, will you be able to start, like, the next day? And mind you, I said we're going into finals week. So that means I was literally about to graduate. So I was on the phone, and I was like, no. I was like, yeah, actually, no, I can't do that. And they were like, what? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to be the first person in my family, like my immediate family, to graduate college and have a degree. So, like, that's important to me. And I have to. I was like, I'm literally in this last week. I have to see this through, you know? And so they were like, okay, well, we'll talk to them, but just go to the callback anyway.
Yeah.
So, like I said, Ball State paid for my way to get there. I flew in on a Tuesday, y'all. Tuesday morning. Took the bus from the airport, went to the audition, did a dance call, sat outside for a little bit, we did the scenes and the songs, finished the scenes and the songs, took a bus back to the airport, hopped back on a night flight to get back to school. Wednesday morning,
oh no,
I'm in the library taking a final. My phone is buzzing. My agent is calling, and I'm hanging up because I'm like, I am taking a final in the library of all places. Please do not get me called. Please. So I call back, and I'm like, hello.
I'm in the middle of something.
You called, you know. And they were like, yeah, we just want to let you know that you booked Broadway. And I was like, stop playing with me.
I got too excited.
I said, stop playing. They were like, yeah, and actually they're willing to wait for you to finish school. And I was like, and I was sobbing. I mean, uncontrollable sobbing. I was like, wow. And so that was my big break. I literally graduated, and I pretty much flew right on out here and started.
I bet that felt really nice walking across that stage to get the diploma.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Like, not a care in the world, like, well.
No, truly. And I had already had other plans. Like, I was about to go to the Muni and do a show there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I was going to do, I was actually about to tour with a jazz band at Ball State, and we were going to go to Switzerland.
Oh.
And I was going to sing jazz music. I was going to be their lead vocalist. So I had this whole life plan.
Sorry to that band.
Sorry to the band. I love y'all. Y'all know I love y'all. But it didn't work out that way, and I ended up doing Broadway, which was...
Hello.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Truly. So, yeah. That was my big break, girl. That's pretty much
amazing.
how it happened.
I knew I loved her. Okay, wait. So, remind me. Waitress, then what was your next one?
Then, after Waitress... was King Kong.
Okay, how'd that happen?
Well, I was in Waitress. Oh, side note, made history as the first African-American woman to play Dawn in Waitress. Shout out to my African-American women out here, okay? But, so I was in Waitress, and my agent sent me a random audition for, like, sort of kind of like, it was for King Kong, but, like, it was so new that nobody had heard any music. We didn't know what it was about.
Right.
And so they like, had us learn Last of Our Kind, which is, like, if you don't know King Kong, it's, like, this big, like, 11 o'clock ballad number that is so gorgeous. And I literally went in an audition, and I think I had another callback months later.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it was like months later. I was like,
you forgot about it at that point.
No, at that point. And that one we came in and did a dance call, and then we did all of the material. I mean, and it was like, it was some deep scenes, y'all. It was some heavy scenes.
Yeah.
And I think it was like 2 or 3 scenes. Pack it. In like 2 or 3 songs. Pack it.
Yeah. Yeah, I love when that happens.
We did them all. And then actually I found out not too long after that, maybe like a month later, that I booked King Kong. But I got to be in the ensemble of King Kong, and I got to understudy the lead and Darryl. I think what was cool about King Kong was that it was a dance-heavy show, and I didn't really consider myself a dancer. I considered myself a singer-actor who could move well, you know? So King Kong was, I like to say Waitress was there to help me when it came to playing on stage and like being in my body, but also playing a character who is completely different from me, right? Playing Dawn.
Yeah.
Very different character than myself, I would like to say. But then King Kong, I feel like, enabled me to not only get like a deeper level of acting, but it also allowed me to believe in myself as a dancer. Yeah. And I think our whole cast was full of all dancers, except for maybe like 3 of us who were like musical theater majors. So it was cool because I got to be like, so how you do that step over there that you did just now? What you call that?
Yeah.
Beret? Okay, got it. And then they got to be like, Kayla, how do you move your voice this way without hurting it? And like, so we helped each other.
Compromise.
No, truly. Yeah. And again, ensemble, like learning how to really build a show together.
Yeah.
Like it was, I love King Kong. Some of the best people I've ever met in my life. Truly. And some of the most hardest workers I've ever met in King Kong. And I think it was also because a lot of people saw King Kong as like, we were a little bit of like underdogs in a way. But the show was actually so much fun and such hard work that like, it was a different type of like having each other's backs. Like if I was on stage, I knew that nothing, especially because we had a giant gorilla sitting on stage, everybody, okay? Yeah. But I knew with those people on stage that I was like, if I were to fall, I know somebody would catch me. Yeah. Like, you know? And I think, that was beautiful about being in King Kong. But yeah, King Kong was next.
Yeah, King Kong. Was the gorilla puppet intimidating? I feel like... it's big, everybody knows, but like standing next to it, I bet it would be like, hello.
No, hello there. So sweet. My nephew still asks me about that gorilla. He's like, how is he? I'm like, he's great.
Oh, he's doing good.
He's doing pretty well.
We got lunch yesterday.
Yeah, he's good. No, I think what was super cool about him was because we had operators, 3 operators who were controlling his emotions. So one who like controlled like his face and his mouth and stuff. Another I think like helped with his shoulders. And then you had all the people on stage who were moving him as a puppeteer. So like everything felt so real when it came to talking to him. So at first it seemed like it was intimidating, but once they added the voice to him, his grunts and stuff, you were like, oh my gosh, you're my friend. Yeah, he was perfect. The hardest acting, some of the hardest acting to do on stage.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But he kind of made it really easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you went from King Kong to then Tina. So how did that transition happen?
Yeah, let me tell y'all about how Tina happened.
Let me just get comfortable.
Opening night of King Kong.
Oh.
Yes. Opening night of King Kong. I had a dance call for Tina. Now, exactly. Now, if you don't know how opening nights work, you pretty much are busy all day. Yeah. You're trying to get your last minute pieces for whatever outfit you choose to put on. You know, if you're doing opening night gigs for the cast, you getting that together. You're meeting with your family and stuff who's trying to see the show, like who's coming to open the night. You have a lot of stuff going on. Then you have to be at the theater a couple hours earlier because you're doing what's the
huddle
you're doing like a huddle to like celebrate the new people. Yeah. And I don't know, what's the new word for it?
I know, I can't remember the new word. That's what
It's a robe.
It's a robe.
That's all you need to know.
If you don't know what it is, you don't need to know.
That's all you need to know. It's a theater robe that is like stitched with all these different shows that have been around. And they give it to the person who's been in the most amount of shows. So, legacy robe.
Legacy robe!
Woo! Found it! Legacy robe. So you have a whole thing that you have to do before you actually start the show, okay? I had a dance call, I think at maybe like 10, 11 a.m.
Oh.
Yes. Yes. And we were learning Proud Mary. Whipping the head. You understand? Whip, 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 okay? Very much so, just like hurting.
Yeah.
And then to go into King Kong, which I just said.
There's a lot going on.
Dancing.
Oh, dancing.
Dancing down at King Kong.
Your poor neck.
Yes. And then my agent comes to me. He comes up to me at our opening night party of King Kong and is like, hey, so they really liked you. What? And they want you to come back tomorrow morning for another dance call. I said, are you kidding me?
Like, awesome, but let me sleep.
Yeah. I said, what? They were like, yes, they'll let you show up just a little late. But, like, I was like, it's Tina. So it's like, I kind of have to.
Yeah.
Like, that's disrespectful if I was to say no to Tina Turner, you know? So I went the next morning. And then from there, I think I had, like, 7 more auditions.
Ooh.
I mean, kept going in, guys. Kept going in. Because originally, I was in for the sister.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, originally I was in for Eileen, and after that first initial audition doing the Eileen packet, they called me back and was like, actually, we want you to learn the Tina stuff.
And you were like, okay.
Then I was like,
I mean, sure.
I honestly was like, no way, Jose. I was like, me? Yeah. Tina?
Yeah.
Grown? No. I was like, now people have told me that I read very old for my age. However, Tina? I don't know. But I was brought back in like 7 times after that. And y'all, what I will say about this experience in the audition process was, 1, it was the longest audition process I've ever been in. Mm-hmm. 2, my last audition was probably one of the best auditions I've ever had in my life. And not because I was killing the game. It was solely because the director, Phillida Lloyd, was an angel sent from above. Like, talk about being in a room where people want you to succeed.
Yeah.
And talk about being in a room with somebody who's willing to play. Like,
to play.
We worked through the scenes and, like, she was just giving so many great notes and, like, potential things to think about and, like, ways to just attack it. And then we got into the music, and it just felt like home. And then when I was done with the audition, she was like, great, pull up a chair. Let's talk. And I was like, pull up a chair? And I literally froze and was like, you mean like come talk to you for real, for real? And she was like, yes. And I was like, oh, well, let me pull up a chair.
Here we go.
And all she wanted to do was get to know me. Like, she just wanted to know where I was from, like, how did I get into theater? Like, a whole thing.
Yeah.
And an audition. And I was like, oh. And now I know why. Because she likes to cast based off of, like, people who are hard workers and are wonderful, but also, like, people she would want to go to vacation with.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I love that. Find good people around you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, I got the call maybe like, I felt like it was like a month or two later, y'all. This one was also some time.
Yeah.
But they called and they were like, yeah, you booked it. But originally I was an ICAT, okay? So I booked an ICAT and I understudied Tina. Mm-hmm. But yeah, babe, Tina was it.
Yeah, I don't know how you were doing it because, number one, well, on her Instagram, go follow. It was so funny because every night you'd be just like posting videos, and on your like story you'd be like, listen, I'm going to sleep for like 3 days.
No
one message. Now I'd imagine in all that time you've had some like embarrassing moments or maybe like on stage mishaps.
Oh my gosh.
That you'd be willing to share.
Yo, there was one day, and I felt like this didn't even happen to any of the Tinas yet. So I was probably the first Tina that this happened to, where I was on stage doing Proud Mary, having a good old time. But what happens is right before Proud Mary happens, the cast is putting on your wig, right? So you have people in the cast who are like plunking that wig in. And something in my spirit was like, I don't think this is on.
Oh, no.
And if you know Kayla, you know that Kayla is a hard dancer, okay? If I'm going to do one thing, is I'm going to throw my body, okay? And that's also why I be tired. I'm going to throw it. I'm going to throw it till I can't throw it no more, okay? I'm trying to learn ease. I haven't gotten there yet. But I have my chairperson of my department sitting in the audience watching the show, and I was like, oh, this is such a great show. I know he's enjoying it. I'm getting the Proud Mary. I'm like, you know. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, so we go. So we hit the step, and y'all know the part is like, da-da-da, da-da-da. I threw that head down, and that wig said, and this is how good I have good hand-eye coordination. I saw something flying, and I said, whoa.
Okay.
And I looked back, and it was the wig. And I said, Houston, we have a problem. And I said, well, I don't know what to do now.
Yeah.
So I said, you just got to keep dancing.
Yeah.
So I stood at the mic for the second part. I swing that sucker around. Cleaned a lot of plates in Memphis, okay? And then I threw it. When we were about to start the fight scene. It happens in the middle of Proud Mary. So I'm like, I can't do it anymore. I threw the wig off of stage left. At this point, my mics, we had 2 mics in our head, guys, dangling, swinging. I'm doing a whole fight scene. Ike, mics flying everywhere. My stage manager, who caught the mic on that side, on stage left. My next change is on stage right, everybody. That stage manager, God, I don't even know who it was. It probably was Luke. God bless you, Luke. He ran all the way underneath to come to the other side of the stage, out of breath. They plopped that wig. I ran off stage after the fight. They plopped that wig on me so fast. Now, the wig was not on right yet again. So it probably looked something like this, you know? But it happened, and we made it through.
Yes.
And, you know, the audience didn't know. They thought that was a part of the act. So we had a great time. However, don't do it to me because all I do is laugh. Some people get mad when mishaps happen. When mishaps happen to me, I laugh.
Yeah.
And then it's very hard for me to stay in the scene.
Yeah.
I hope that never happens again. Wow. JK, I kind of hope it does. Okay.
Okay. Ooh, that's a good one. I'll take it. Yeah. All right. Now, just fun question. If you could jump into any currently running Broadway show,
yes,
what would you jump into?
You know, recently I saw & Juliet.
Okay.
And I think I would want to jump into that show. I wouldn't even need to be like a lead. I kind of just want to jump in there for the choreo.
Yeah,
like they have
awesome. I haven't seen it yet.
It's so great. Go see it. I'm a big fan. I think it's so fun. I was like, yes, go ahead, y'all. They were up there jamming.
That's what everyone says. I've been meaning to see it. I just haven't yet.
So good. It's also beautiful to see like all new faces. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I love seeing new people in our industry, like coming in, and people who have been doing it forever, but this is their moment and their chance and their time. Mm-hmm. So it's really cool to see. So I definitely would jump in there with them and be like, hey y'all, it's me.
My lonely girl.
Also, the music is fire.
Yeah.
You know, it's great.
Good time. Go see Anne Juliet. Now, speaking of roles, do you have any dream roles that you've yet to play?
Yes, I still want to play Felicia in Memphis. I very, 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 very much want to play it. And I no, seriously though, I do want to play Aida.
Yeah.
Yep, have to, because I love Heather Headley.
Yeah.
And what she did with that.
Yeah.
Heather, you don't know me, but I'm your biggest fan. Okay?
So maybe
all right.
something can happen. So, Heather, I think it would be a great opportunity to maybe show Heather and maybe some others what that would sound like. Would you sing for us?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Okay. All right, so what are you going to be singing today?
You know what? Actually, now that we're talking about it, I think what I want to sing is Easy as Life from Aida.
Okay. You heard it here first. Kayla Davion singing Easy as Life.
This is the moment when the gods expect me to beg for help, but I won't even try. I want nothing in this world but myself to protect me, and I won't lie down, roll over and die. All I have to do is forget how much I love him. All I have to do is put my longing to one side. Tell myself that love's an ever-changing situation. The passion would have cooled and all the magic would have died. It's easy. It's easy. All I have to do is pretend I never knew him. On those very rare occasions when he steals into my heart. Better to have lost him when the ties were barely binding. Better the contempt of the familiar cannot start. It's easy, so easy, until I think about him as he was when I last touched him, and how he would have been right up be with him today. Those very rare occasions don't let up, they keep on coming. All I ever wanted, and I'm throwing it away. It's easy. It's easy. that all the hardest things we've done are easy, so easy. And though I'll think about him as the earth draws around me, and though I choose to leave him for another kind of love, this is no denial, no betrayal, but redemption. Redeemed in my own eyes and in the pantheon above. It's easy. It's easy as life. It's easy as life. It's easy as life.
Kayla, that was amazing!
I'm hot.
Oh my gosh. I'm obsessed with her! Anyway, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me. This has been fun.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear it. And thank you for watching.
Yes.
This has been Broadway Interludes presented by Art Lab. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.